Welcome to a deep dive into the lives and legacies of every President of the United States, from the birth of our nation in 1789 to the present day in 2025. George Washington. Born February 22, 1732 in Westmoreland County, Virginia, George Washington grew up on a plantation, learning surveying and horsemanship from a young age. Orphaned early, he carved his path through the French and Indian War, rising as a colonel and earning respect for his bravery. Elected unanimously in 1788, he served from April 30, 1789 to March 4, 1797 as our first president under the new Constitution. Washington set precedents that defined the office: a two-term limit, a neutral foreign policy, and a strong executive branch. He suppressed the Whiskey Rebellion, established the National Bank, and navigated early cabinet rivalries between Hamilton and Jefferson. His farewell address warned against factions and foreign entanglements, words that echo today. Retiring to Mount Vernon, he died December 14, 1799, at 67, from a throat infection, mourned as the father of his country. Washington's stoic leadership forged a fragile union into an enduring republic, reminding us that true greatness lies in stepping aside for the greater good. His legacy? The blueprint for American democracy, tested but unbroken.
2. John Adams. Born October 30, 1735 in Braintree, Massachusetts, now Quincy, John Adams was a fiery lawyer and patriot, defending British soldiers in the Boston Massacre trial to uphold justice. Married to the brilliant Abigail, he championed independence at the Continental Congress, though he never signed the Declaration. Elected in 1796 amid a bitter campaign, he served from March 4, 1797 to March 4, 1801. Adams faced a divided nation, the quasi-war with France, where he kept America out of full conflict, earning peace without surrender. He built up the Navy and signed the Alien and Sedition Acts, controversial laws curbing free speech that haunted his party. His midnight appointments of Federalist judges clashed with incoming Jefferson, sparking Marbury v. Madison and judicial review. Defeated for re-election, Adams returned to Quincy, reconciling with Jefferson in a legendary correspondence. He died July 4, 1826 at 90, hours after his rival, whispering, "Thomas Jefferson survives." Adams' intellect and integrity steered the young republic through stormy seas, proving that principle over popularity builds lasting foundations. His story teaches that even second place in history can be first in wisdom. 3. Thomas Jefferson. Born April 13, 1743 at Shadwell Plantation in Virginia, Thomas Jefferson was a polymath, architect, inventor, farmer, and philosopher who penned the Declaration of Independence at 33, proclaiming all men are created equal while owning slaves, a hypocrisy that shadowed his genius. Educated at William and Mary, he founded the University of Virginia and designed Monticello. Elected in 1800 after a tie-breaking House vote, he served from March 4, 1801 to March 4, 1809. The Louisiana Purchase doubled America's size for $15 million from Napoleon, opening the West without a shot. He sent Lewis and Clark to explore it, launched the Barbary War against pirates, and slashed federal debt while cutting taxes. Yet the Embargo Act crippled trade to avoid European wars, hurting farmers. Jefferson's vision of agrarian democracy clashed with urban industrialists. Retiring to Monticello, he died July 4, 1826, at 83, on the Declaration's 50th anniversary.
His eloquent ideals ignited revolutions worldwide, but his slaveholding, including a relationship with Sally Hemings, challenges his enlightenment. Jefferson's legacy is America's soul, liberty's promise, forever pursued. 4. James Madison. Born March 16, 1751, in Port Conway, Virginia, James Madison was the father of the Constitution, a diminutive scholar whose brilliant mind towered over the founding fathers. At Princeton, he studied history and government, fueling his role at the Constitutional Convention, where he drafted the Virginia Plan and championed the Bill of Rights. Married to the vivacious Dolly, he bridged Federalists and Republicans. Elected in 1808, he served from March 4, 1809 to March 4, 1817. The War of 1812 defined his term. British impressment of sailors and trade restrictions led to invasion, the burning of Washington, and Dolly's heroic flag-saving. Yet victories at Lake Erie and New Orleans boosted morale, birthing the national anthem. Madison rechartered the bank and pushed internal improvements, though vetoing some as unconstitutional. Post-war, the era of good feelings dawned. Retiring to Montpelier, he died June 28, 1836, at 85, the last founder. Madison's intellect wove the threads of union, turning chaos into checks and balances. His quiet resolve reminds us that ideas, not armies, secure freedom. 5. James Monroe. Born April 28, 1758, in Westmoreland County, Virginia, James Monroe was a soldier scholar who fought at Trenton, studied law under Jefferson, and served as minister to France during the Revolution. Wounded in battle, he embodied the Virginia dynasty. Married to the elegant Elizabeth, he navigated diplomacy with poise. Elected in 1816, he served from March 4, 1817 to March 4, 1825. The Missouri Compromise balanced slave and free states, delaying sectional strife. His era of good feelings saw one-party rule, infrastructure booms like the Cumberland Road, and the acquisition of Florida from Spain. The Monroe Doctrine, penned by Adams, warned Europe against New World colonies, asserting U.S. hemisphere dominance, a policy enduring today. Seminole Wars expanded borders. Retiring amid financial woes, he died July 4, 1831, at 73 in New York. Monroe's steady hand healed war wounds, fostering unity and ambition. His doctrine projected American power without conquest, a diplomatic masterstroke that defined isolationism with teeth. 6. John Quincy Adams. Born July 11, 1767, in Braintree, Massachusetts, John Quincy Adams was a child diplomat, accompanying his father to Europe and learning 6 languages. Harvard-educated, he served as minister to Russia and negotiated the Treaty of Ghent, ending the War of 1812. A nationalist, he authored the Monroe Doctrine's core. Elected in 1824 via corrupt bargain accusations, he served from March 4, 1825 to March 4, 1829. His American system pushed roads, canals, and tariffs for growth, but Congress blocked him. He supported internal improvements and Native American rights, clashing with Jacksonians. Defeated in 1828, he won a House seat and fought the gag rule on slavery petitions, earning abolitionist hero status. Retiring to Quincy, he died February 23, 1848, at 80, collapsing in Congress. Adams' eloquence and moral fire turned electoral loss into legislative legend. His presidency sowed seeds of progress, but his post-White House crusade against slavery cements him as democracy's defender. 7. Andrew Jackson. Born March 15, 1767, in the Waxhaws region of the Carolinas, Andrew Jackson was an orphan frontiersman who became a self-taught lawyer, planter, and war hero at New Orleans in 1815, routing the British. Old Hickory embodied populism, dueling foes, and amassing wealth. Married to Rachel, whose death broke him, he railed against elites. Elected in 1828 with massive turnout, he served from March 4, 1829 to March 4, 1837. Jackson vetoed the bank recharter, decrying it as corrupt, shifting power to state banks and fueling speculation. The Indian Removal Act forced Cherokee on the Trail of Tears, a stain of genocide. He paid off the national debt, the only time ever, and crushed the nullification crisis, affirming federal supremacy. Surviving an assassination attempt, he handpicked Van Buren. Retiring to the Hermitage, he died June 8, 1845, at 78. Jackson democratized politics for the common man, but at the cost of native lives and economic instability. His iron will reshaped America, for better and worse. 8. Martin Van Buren. Born December 5, 1782, in Kinderhook, New York, Martin Van Buren rose from tavern keeper's son to astute lawyer and little magician of politics, building Jackson's democratic machine. A widower with 4 sons, he championed spoils system patronage. Elected in 1836 as Jackson's heir, he served from March 4, 1837 to March 4, 1841. The Panic of 1837 crashed the economy, bank failures, unemployment soaring, blamed on Jackson's policies. Van Buren proposed an independent treasury for federal funds, avoiding banks, but it divided Democrats. He opposed annexing Texas over slavery fears and navigated the Caroline affair with Canada. Defeated in 1840, he tried again in 1848 with Free Soilers, opposing expansion. Retiring to Lindenwold, he died July 24, 1862, at 79. Van Buren's shrewdness stabilized parties, but depression tarnished his tenure. His legacy? The architect of modern partisanship, proving politics is the art of the possible amid crisis. 9. William Henry Harrison. Born February 9, 1773, in Berkeley Plantation, Virginia, William Henry Harrison was a patrician soldier, son of a signer, who quelled Tecumseh's Confederacy at Tippecanoe in 1811, earning his campaign slogan, Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Northwestern Territory governor, he lived grandly but faced debts. Married to Anna with 10 children, he sought glory late. Elected in 1840 in a log cabin whirlwind, he served from March 4, 1841 to April 4, 1841, just 31 days. Delivering a 2-hour inaugural in cold rain without hat or coat, he caught pneumonia and died, the first to pass in office. His brief term promised reform, but delivered only Whig hopes dashed. Harrison's death elevated Tyler, sparking succession debates. He was 68. Harrison's campaign invented mass rallies, but his presidency? A whisper in history, reminding us mortality humbles even heroes. 10. John Tyler. Born March 29, 1790, in Greenway, Virginia, John Tyler was a states' rights Democrat turned Whig, governor and senator who dueled and defended Virginia's honor. Married twice, fathering 15 children, he owned slaves and eyed the South. Ascending after Harrison's death in 1841, he served from April 4, 1841 to March 4, 1845. His accidency clashed with Whigs, vetoing bank bills twice, facing impeachment threats the first time. He annexed Texas in 1844, expanding slavery's reach, and settled Oregon boundaries peacefully. Tyler mediated the Webster-Ashburton Treaty on borders. Expelled from his party, he retired to Sherwood Forest. Later, he backed secession, dying January 18, 1862, at 71, in Richmond as a Confederate. Tyler affirmed vice presidential succession, but deepened divides. His stubborn independence forged precedent over party, a lone wolf in the White House. 11. James K. Polk. Born November 2, 1795, near Pineville, North Carolina, James Knox Polk was a workhorse Jacksonian, Speaker of the House, who married his ambitious partner, Sarah. Scarred by childhood illness, he channeled energy into expansion. Elected in 1844, promising 54-40 or fight, he served from March 4, 1845 to March 4, 1849. Polk waged the Mexican-American War, annexing California and the Southwest via the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. He settled Oregon with Britain at the 49th parallel and lowered tariffs, boosting trade. Fulfilling all pledges, he avoided a second term, exhausted. Retiring to Nashville, he died June 15, 1849, at 53 from cholera. Polk's aggressive manifest destiny doubled U.S. size, but ignited slavery debates, setting Civil War stage. His no-nonsense efficiency made him the expansionist engine, proving ambition builds empires, but sows seeds of strife. 12. Zachary Taylor. Born November 24, 1784, in Orange County, Virginia, Zachary, old rough and ready Taylor was a career soldier, unlettered but battle-tested from 1812 to the Seminoles, never voting before running. Married to Margaret with 6 children, he lived in forts. Elected in 1848 as a slave-holding Whig, he served from March 4, 1849 to July 9, 1850. Taylor opposed slavery's spread, back in California as free state, clashing with Southerners. He enforced Compromise of 1850 drafts, but died of gastroenteritis at 65, amid heat wave. His death opened Fillmore's door to compromise. Taylor's military bluntness checked sectionalism briefly, a reluctant politician whose short term hinted at stronger Union will. His legacy? The soldier president who prioritized nation over faction, gone too soon. 13. Millard Fillmore. Born January 7, 1800, in a log cabin in Cayuga County, New York, Millard Fillmore was apprenticed to a clothier, a self-taught lawyer who founded the University of Buffalo. Married twice, he rose as Whig congressman. Ascending in 1850, he served from July 9, 1850 to March 4, 1853. Fillmore signed the Compromise of 1850, admitting California free, strengthening fugitive slave law hated by abolitionists. He opened Japan via Perry's expedition, eyeing trade. Defeated for nomination, he ran on know-nothing ticket in 1856, splitting votes. Retiring to Buffalo, he died March 8, 1874, at 74. Fillmore's compromise delayed war but fueled division. His pragmatic law and order approach stabilized temporarily, but his anti-immigrant turn darkens his tale. A bridge president in turbulent times. 14. Franklin Pierce. Born November 23, 1804, in Hillsborough, New Hampshire, Franklin Pierce was a war hero at Mexico. Charismatic lawyer married to Jane, who loathed Washington. Democratic Compromise King. Elected in 1852, he served from March 4, 1853 to March 4, 1857. The Kansas-Nebraska Act repealed Missouri Compromise, birthing Bleeding Kansas violence. Gadsden Purchase added Southwest land.
His son's train death days before inauguration haunted him with alcoholism. Foreign policy shone, treaties with Japan, Hawaii. Party dumped him. Retiring to Concord, he died October 8, 1869, at 64. Pierce's affable facade masked failure to stem slavery's fire. His legacy? A dough-faced president whose indecision accelerated disunion, a cautionary tale of personal grief derailing national duty.
15. James Buchanan. Born April 23, 1791 in Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, James Buchanan was a bachelor diplomat, minister to Britain and Russia, scarred by lost love. Old public functionary, knew Europe, but not America. Elected in 1856, he served from March 4, 1857 to March 4, 1861. Dred Scott decision emboldened him. He backed Lee Compton pro-slavery Kansas Constitution, alienating North. Panic of 1857 hit hard. He vetoed relief. Utah Mormon issues and Crittenden Compromise failed. Secession began under his watch. He dithered. Retiring to Wheatland, he died June 1, 1868, at 77, defending his record. Buchanan's legalism and Southern leanings made him the worst-ranked president, his inaction inviting war. A tragedy of timidity when boldness was needed. 16. Abraham Lincoln. Born February 12, 1809 in a Kentucky log cabin, Abraham Lincoln was a self-educated rail splitter, surveyor, and storyteller who lost elections but won hearts. Married to Mary Todd, father to 4 boys, 2 died young, Whig turned Republican. Elected in 1860, he served from March 4, 1861 to April 15, 1865. Civil War defined him. Fort Sumter fell. He suspended habeas corpus, issued Emancipation Proclamation freeing 3.5 million slaves, and delivered Gettysburg Address, Government of the People. Draft riots and Copperheads challenged. Gettysburg and Vicksburg turned tide. Re-elected 1864, he pushed 13th Amendment. Assassinated by Booth at Ford's Theater at 56. Lincoln's moral clarity saved Union, redefined freedom. His humble rise to martyr status inspires, from backwoods to immortality. 17. Andrew Johnson. Born December 29, 1808 in Raleigh, North Carolina, Andrew Johnson was a tailor's apprentice, self-taught, who owned slaves but opposed secession. Tailor politician, married to Eliza with 5 children. War Democrat, Lincoln's 1864 running mate. Ascending after assassination in 1865, he served from April 15, 1865 to March 4, 1869. Johnson's leniency pardoned Confederates, clashing with radical Republicans over Reconstruction. He vetoed Civil Rights Act, 14th Amendment, bought Alaska for $7.2 million, Seward's folly. Impeached for tenure of office violation, acquitted by 1 vote. Defeated for Senate later. Retiring to Greenville, he died July 31, 1875, at 66, vindicated in office. Johnson's racism stalled equality, but his populist fight against Congress showed executive mettle. A flawed bridge from war to peace.